Okay. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I played this last, I think. Because I think I was traveling last week. And something maybe came up the week before. So I apologize in advance for any memory issues. I apologize that it's taken me a little longer. Um, it's taken me a little longer to get on this, and it's taken me a little longer to post videos than I meant to. So I'll try to get all that done in the next week or so. But yeah, we have this game. The colony gets labeled Strato Colony. So part of the screen is unfortunately going to be a little bit cut off because of my my setup here in Texas. I have the world's shortest cable. So I'm going to kind of just do what I can. Maybe I'll be looking on this screen instead of that screen. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I've had a good time. I've gone on adventures as best I can. I went to an adventure game meetup with my sister this weekend. I'm going to be going down to Austin next week to practice for a show in California the following weekend with my band. So if you're in the vicinity of San Diego, please come out and see my band. I would absolutely love to meet folks. Sorry I didn't meet any of the Seattle crew, but the trip, this was not the trip for me to meet up with people. Maybe there'll be another Seattle trip in my future. We'll see. And yes, I met Roberta Williams there, which was very exciting as a King's Quest loving person. So last time, yeah, the Rumpelstiltskin thing people actually talked about a fair bit. But no, I did not, in fact, harass her about game design decisions that she made 40 years ago. Although other people did. And it was actually interesting because for all the memory issues that I've been struggling with the past however many years it's been, apparently Roberta Williams has been struggling with memory issues as well, so she couldn't remember elements of her own game and was afraid that people were going to give her a hard time for it, which unfortunately some of them did, which was really sad and kind of disappointing. But as sad as it was, I'm just kind of like, this is relatable. I suppose I'm not the only one struggling with these things. But yeah. So things that happened recently. I am on very good terms loyalty-wise. I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm very stressed, so I think I'm gonna have to take this next month off. Which actually will let me drop some of these. Oh, that's right. We learned about the history of our colony. We learned about, well, before they became a colony, before they became a generational ship, we learned about the cult of their origins. Yes. And that was really interesting because I wasn't sure at first whether the developers felt, or whether the developers thought that what was being said was kind of unsettling and cult-like, but they are aware of that. And so that's very interesting because, like, on one hand, like, yes, space communism, yay. On the other hand, cults are unsettling, and being able to see what is clearly propaganda is very interesting. Yeah, well, it's not just that the AI isn't going to get into a nuanced discussion because it's nuanced. I mean, she is clearly part of, clearly created by and deeply enmeshed with the ideals of the people who founded this colony, you know? So we're not going to get we're not going to get her to criticize the government or the culture that made her, if that makes sense. But hopefully if we stay, it's going to be weird and sad staying in, because the thing to do here from a gameplay perspective is to stay in here. But it's going to be a little odd to do that without the companion character from the creche. So it looks like I'm going to be talking to my character's dad. Now let me make sure I remember my character's name is... No, what is her name? No. Solana, thank you. Yes, again, it's been a few weeks. I apologize for that. Let's see what the deal is with the dad. I am kind of concerned it's gonna be bad news, but you know, we'll find out when we dive in. You're looking a little worn out, my little firefly. Your dad greets you, looking concerned. You know, despite what your mom might say, there is such a thing as too much work. Maybe some R&R over in the lounge would help recharge those solar cells. What do you say? I like nightshades. Nightshade leaves may be toxic, but nightshade plants are delicious and excellent. So I can say maybe I just need a hug, or I'm fine, thanks, or I'll sleep when I'm dead. And yeah, please feel free to chat about things in the spoiler chat if you want to talk about things I haven't seen or done yet. Let's see. Let's go with, I think I'm going to go with, maybe I just need a hug. See what Dad has to say about that. That's just the option I feel like picking. Your dad throws his arms wide. Well, get in here, tiger butter. After a long hug, you do feel a little better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. So I'm going to be slightly less sad and slightly more loyal. But still pretty sad. I cannot help him with the animals. That's right, I failed at interacting with the kids. Cal is really sad. I can't do anything to help Dis, unfortunately. I'll need bravery. Don't have any of that. I failed at helping Tangent interfere with her brother's whatever it is that he's working on right now. Emotionally, whatever he's going through. I'm gonna move this a little bit here. There we go. And then I'm not that interested in anemone. Hopefully more opportunities for meddling, yes. All right, I think I've spoken to everybody, so I think I'm gonna have to go rest. Although I could squeeze in, especially now that if I'm gonna be a min-maxer, I could maybe squeeze in one more lesson before I go and get rid of all of my stress by staying in here. The hug to education. I will be at 95 out of 100. But then you make it, I believe it all gets wiped away after you have a month off. I think. I'm trying to remember. I do really want to study humanities some more. I'm really interested in that. Well, if this is the wrong thing to do, I will learn it the hard way. Shall we? study humanities and learn it the hard way. If there's a way to handle stress management better than I've been handling it, the game will teach me. I'm still in my first year, so this is an opportunity with relatively low stakes, we say, despite children having died already in this. I know I should work on engineering, but I'm most interested in this. And I feel like, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I hope I don't get everybody killed this playthrough. We'll see. I should study engineering. Actually, you're probably supposed to start with life sciences because your mom wants you to. That's probably the easy way. Yes, burning out at school is role-playing a believable character. Well, we've already established that Solana is working really hard to try to... Like, basically, she's internalized her friend's death as in some way being something that she should have stopped and could maybe learn to stop. And so if that were the case, I would be leaning 100% into engineering to try to make sure that never happens to anyone again. But we learned a little bit about learning that lore here. I feel like Solana's like, wait, what? What is that? What else are they not telling me? I want to find out about it. So I think I'm going to study more humanities. Burn out at school. Yeah, no, I mean, right now I'm trying to roleplay out the most Lauren character, but I'm bad at meddling. I'm hoping I'll get more opportunities as I get better at it. We'll see what happens. I'm also very loyal, which is not... I don't know. It's just, this is what's happening. We're figuring out how the game works by playing it, and we'll probably wind up playing again or two. And yes, learning persuasion will in fact help with meddling. That is part of why I want to do this. So let's go ahead and study humanities. Oh boy. You're doing creative writing in teams and you're paired with Mars. You wish it was Tange. She always does so well on these. The theme is Earth's natural environment. Mars takes the topic at face value and wants to write about how beautiful everything was on Earth, with blue skies and green plants everywhere, and huge oceans that went forever. It always looks gorgeous in the carefully staged movies you've seen on holovids. So I can either write an essay with her. Okay. Tiny tangent. So you know how I've learned that I've mentioned that I've learned that I have Canadian pronunciations. I have a bit of a Canadian accent that I inherited from my mother despite growing up in Texas. And I have a few Canadianisms that I inherited from her without realizing it as well. I recently discovered that there is another word that I have the wrong pronunciation for my language in a really interesting way that I've I've kind of wondered but never really thought about. So my mother's first language actually isn't English. My mother's first language is actually German, but she grew up speaking both. And so this is funny. If I know we have some German flutie pies, but I don't know that any of them will be present given that this is not okay times for Europe. But if any of them are watching this in the future, when I finally put this up on YouTube. So Mars's full name? Marzipan is how I've always said it my entire life, which is the German pronunciation put through an American or Canadian accent. It is not the English pronunciation of the word. The English pronunciation of the word is marzipan, which is why she's Mars. But her being Mars seemed really strange to me because that's not how you say that word. It's marzipan. So it's not a Mars, it's a Martz. Yeah, and well, the I know the origin of the word is kind of a bastardization of French, I believe, is the general consensus of what the original etymology is, that is like the anglicization, they Englishified other words, but the pronunciation that I use is not that. And I'd wondered, I thought that some people pronounced it marzipan and some people pronounced it marzipan, and I for a long time thought that marzipan was just incorrect, and I was like, why do they say it that way? That's not how it's said. And then I learned a few weeks ago when my mom was visiting and she says the word with a full-on German accent. And when she says it, she'll be speaking in her standard Canadian English accent that she grew up with. And then this word just sticks out like a sore thumb because she slips into speaking German for that one word. And I realized for the first time in my life that that's the same pronunciation that I use. So, except that I don't do the German R's. I have a very, very American R, and I only have one R, and that's the only R I can make, which is very limiting when it comes to speaking other languages. So there's a funny little fact here that I don't think anybody commented on that when I talked about this character who I'm going to continue to refer to as Marzipan, just because that's how I've said that word my whole life. I cannot just change it because it's not an incorrect pronunciation. I'm not saying the word wrong. I'm saying it with the wrong accent. If it were factually incorrect, like papyrus for papyrus, that's a thing to change. But in this case, I'm just saying the German word without meaning to. I don't know, it's just really funny. I never realized that. Man, no, don't do Spanish or French if you can only do one R. It's really limiting. Most languages use multiple R's. I didn't even realize that German used more than one R until I heard my mom say the word marzipan, and I was like, oh, the difference between your pronunciation and mine is the R. So yeah. Anyway, tangent. My microphone was doing something weird there. Anyway, no, if I remember correctly, it has something to do with like being called like almond bread or something like that in French, maybe, but they're not entirely sure. From what I saw, it's kind of a complicated word etymologically, but regardless, marzipan. The thing is, I can't say marzipan any more comfortably than I can say sorry. It sounds like I'm putting quote marks around the word. So, she's Mars. That's right. I can say Mars. Or should I just call her Martz? Anyway, I am not her friend. And if I do what she says, she'll like me more. But I'm not interested in that right now. I'm not min-maxing the friendship. And I don't think my Solana likes her very much. And I'm really interested in what's going on Earth. They kind of laid the foundation for me to be like, well, what's the reality of the situation as opposed to what I've been told all my life, you know? So I think I'm gonna write about climate problems instead. Let's see what happens. Also, I get more points. Mars wants to write about Earth's lush forests and deep, jewel-like oceans, but you stop her. Wasn't Earth basically on fire when your parents left? You decide you should spend extra time researching how things really were. You've heard the basics from congruence, but what was it actually like? You ask her for all the information she has on the ecological collapse of Earth. This is gonna be really comfortable, isn't it? All right. Oh, hey, that just bumped up. Oh, that was my compression knob. Okay, we're gonna do this. That's good. That's good. That's better. You can probably hear me better. I can hear me better. So we're gonna go with this. It's a different audio interface. It's my old one, so the knobs got twisted and turned, and I forgot to twist and turn them back to normal. Anyway. This is not going to have any relevance. That's very depressing about what's going on in our real world. Certainly, that would never happen. Well, congruence replies, first, carbon emissions trapped in the heat of the sun, which raised the global average temperature. You ask her to stop so you can look up carbon emissions. Then she continues. So the polar ice melted and the oceans rose and became too warm to sustain life. Mass weather disruptions caused grassland to become desert, then the bees died, and then so did everything they used to pollinate. Food instability caused wars to break out. By the time your parents left Earth, everything was essentially either underwater, on fire most of the year, or irradiated. Yay. That's great. That's good. I love that. This is a kind of a worst case scenario concept of what might happen here on our Earth. But we will not engage in doomerism here. We will not doom spiral about it. It's not a known fact that it will occur like this. This is but one possible future for us. For them, it's the past. Learning all this stresses you out. Oh, I'm gonna have a breakdown. Good. All of that just because people wanted to drive in cars and own lots of stuff made in faraway places and have big families and keep their big houses the same temperature all year, and all by burning dirty mud they dug out of the ground. Could that happen here too? Okay, here is a not so subtle dig at problems of modern society where perhaps the game developers' politics are showing. They may wind up being critical of their own political side, but they will certainly be critical of what they consider to be an unhealthy society. You're too bummed to present your findings, but Mars steps up. She gets a few facts messed up, but presents it well. She ends on a high note. She doesn't think the mud here on Vertumna is as flammable as the weird mud they had on Earth, so no problem. You don't get an amazing grade. Mars accepts this with grace, but still thinks you would have done better if you'd gone with her idea. So all we've done is depress ourselves with doom spiraling. Get to work. I'm gonna have some trouble here. No? What will happen if I do this? This pink candy sure is a memory with no description. Interesting that these have 2s in the corner and this has 1 in the corner. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I'm also gonna have a breakdown. It's gonna be great. Are you ready to see what happens? when your stress gets too high. Because my stress is 90 out of 100. I'm cutting it too close. I think this is the highest score. And when it's gold like that. Wait, actually, hold on. What happens if I switch these? Okay, there we go. Super goal. Thanks, Chrono. All right. Well, we got a super goal. We're gonna win. Victorious. You worked well this month. +1 creativity. So creative, somewhat persuasive, and very stressful. Yeah, this game is really cool, Sugar King, honestly. I really like it. Oh man. What are the consequences going to be of being max stress? What does this say? It says, stressed out. You're too stressed out and need to take a month off. Can't do anything but relax. Physical and mental exhaustion, indeed. All right, so I have no choice but to rest. That's fine. I can live with that. Rain, Tange says, clearly unimpressed. She holds her hand out from under her umbrella and lets raindrops collect in her palm. I cannot say I am a fan. Being wet is a misery. My reasoning is not high enough to study with her again, but we'll get there. We'll get there. You need some time off. I do need some time off. Does that mean I can't even talk to anyone? Your dad doesn't have time to chat, but he waves hello. All right. Sorry, Cal. Okay. I guess we're gonna rest up because there's nothing else we can do. And I don't think I see anything else on the ground we could pick up. So, I think we're just gonna have to take it easy for a month. But that was worth it. We did super duper ultra well. And we'll hopefully forget one of our zeros or something like that. The living quarters. The ship's quarters are where everyone sleeps, eats, and hangs out. The private bedrooms are small. You share one with your parents, so colonists spend most of their time in the big common area. There's a lounge and cafeteria, and a creche where all of the little kids and babies are raised communally. Okay, well, our only choice is to relax in the lounge. Let's do it. You organize a raid on the kitchen pantry for snacks. They want to be free. You must liberate them. Let's forget crawling. It's not like I need body points for anything. Let's try this. Forget crawling? Okay. The days have been getting shorter, with only the yellow sun barely skimming the horizon. One morning, you wake in the darkness and have to check your holopalm to know what time it is. You see a hollow stream from Mars. Good morning to all my pals, if you can even call it morning. They've named it glow season because, like, everything is crazy glowing out there in the dark. I am staying the heck inside for the next month. What's the point in even going out if you can't see anything? It's going to be a long, boring month. So I can either say, yeah, hella dull, or no way, it looks cool out there. I have enough interest in science. I'm going to say, no way, it looks cool out there. Also, Mars and I are already not getting along great, so we're going to go with this. I disagree with her. You peek out the window. The wormhole is the biggest you've ever seen it, like a massive fiery ring in the sky. The planet must be very close to it now. And out in the jungle, something new is taking place. The plants are flowering, glowing iridescent blooms, and everything is full of life. There are strange new sounds, long hooting calls and gurgling roars. You know, the art in this game is just absolutely gorgeous. After Mars's message is a notice from the council warning everyone to stay safe inside. Tammy's dad and the other surveyors have been called back and the gates closed for the month. There's a tension in the air, as if everyone is waiting for something. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so it's not a 3-month thing. It's just one season. Wow. Oh, that's cool looking. Oh, that's so cool. It's just dark and everything's glowing. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, man. I'm gonna pick this up. Glittering crystal cluster. I wonder who would like that. Oh, she totally did stay inside. She was not kidding. Although, honestly, Anemone is just running around like usual. Dis is staring off into the wilderness outside the gates. Feels different, he mumbles. Don't know how, just different. You ask him what he means, but he just shakes his head and stuffs his hands in his pockets. Done. He's disassociating. Maybe he is. Oh, man. It's so cool looking, isn't it? Alright, so here's the mom. Solana! Your mom stops you as you walk by. What are you doing out of our quarters? It isn't safe out here. So I can either say, I was just heading back, or, but I'm going to school, or it doesn't seem very dangerous. I mean, I will try to go to school if they'll let me. Maybe I'm not allowed to go to school this month. We'll see. I'm going to say, but I'm going to school. She nods with grudging approval. Fair enough, she replies. Stay close to the stratospheric, got it? We don't know what's out there this time of year. As you walk away and are just out of earshot, you hear her mumble, Stars, it is beautiful, though. Instead of getting in trouble, I got in less trouble. I'm gonna try... Wrong button. Yeah, I have no friendship with Anemone or Dis. Fair bit of friendship with Tangent. Yeah. I still somehow have more friendship with Mars than with Anemone. I want to have more friendship with Dis. That's the thing is I want to save. I'm gonna see what happens if I give this to him. think. Who else would like a weird, interesting, glowy rock? I want to try giving this to him. Thing is, like, a crystal cluster is so cool. It seems like anyone... No, I don't think he would like it, actually. I feel like he... Like, to me, it seems like more of, like, that's an obvious thing to like. And I think that the things that he likes would be less obvious somehow. Expedition. You're way too scared to go outside during glow season. And besides, the gates are closed. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Well, let us do some school. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Ah, we get to study. We get to pick what we're going to do. I just want to keep studying the humanities. But I feel like I should study engineering. Because my reasoning needs to go up so that I can become besties with Tangent. But I just really want to study... I just really want to study the humanities. Empathy is 11. Persuasion is... Hold on. Persuasion is... 13. Creativity is 20, which seems like that's got to be worth something. Whereas, like, my reasoning is 27 and my engineering is 23. I think I need my reasoning to be 40 before I can do another hanging out with Tangent. My toughness. Alright. I just really want to do humanities. I told myself I was going to alternate engineering and humanities. I haven't really been doing very well with that, have I? No, I'm not very successful at that. I have studied engineering a bunch, though. I think I'm going to study engineering because that would be the, that would be responsible in case something goes horribly wrong. I'm more likely to be able to fix it or contribute in a meaningful way with engineering skills. Humanities would be good if I need to keep people from fighting, but engineering will help me fix if something goes wrong with the colony, which it very well may. It's very interesting that glow is the time of the year that we are closest to the wormhole, which may be responsible for some of our sensitivity to the past, present, future, and alternate timelines. But let's study engineering. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is cool. Okay. The wormhole is so visible in glow. You and your classmates take a trip just outside the walls and set up telescopes, an old Earth technology the nanoprinters can easily replicate, to try to get a closer look. Get to work. Studying engineering. Oh. Super goal. I think I do more easily get super goals on engineering stuff. Alright. I'm so good at school. Look at how good I am at school. I worked well this month. Oh, 5 engineering, 2 reasoning, 15 strength, stress, and oh, additional kudos. I know, right, Chrono? That's exactly what I was referencing and thinking. Yay! I did so good. I'm so good at engineering and reasoning right now. That will probably make a difference eventually. It's daytime when the emergency sirens start up. Well, what passes for day. It's still nearly pitch black except for an eerie green twilight glow on the horizon. You look towards the gates. They're open. Wait, they shouldn't be open. The alert blares out of every speaker in the colony. It's the same one you used for hull breaches and fires, and in space it meant you were supposed to go to the nearest emergency shaft and put on a spacesuit. On Vertumna, it means go to an assembly point and wait for instructions. Okay, well, that's gonna go really well. Everyone's gonna die horribly. The closest assembly point is at the children's crush, but from the opposite direction you hear shouting and loud popping noises. Gunfire! Is the colony under attack? So I could either help fight if I had high enough bravery, which I do not, or hide in the crush. I don't know what unchangeable means, but that, I believe, is the only option I've got, because I'm just not that brave. Somebody is going to die, and it's going to be really sad. You find Dis in the creche and join him in hiding under the arts and crafts table. The lights are dim. You scared? He asks quietly. So I can either nod silently, say, of course I'm scared, or I just don't want to fight. I'm going to nod silently. Because A, I think that is a very in-character thing to do here, very reasonable. And from a meta perspective, I think that maybe that will be something more relatable to him. We'll see. Honestly, every single thing I've tried to do to connect with this kid has been the wrong thing. So I may continue to just do the wrong thing. Then again, everything is bad right now. So let's see how many people die because of monsters attacking our colony. So we're going to nod silently. Dis shrugs. I thought I would be, but I'm not, he says. I'm not scared of stuff like this. You can't help but glance at the holo projector on the wall, the one that electrocuted your classmate Tammy earlier this year. The glowing bear looms over the room and for a moment looks more like a monster than a toy. You grew up here. It feels weird to be hiding here, like you're just little kids again. You hear more gunfire and yelling, but within half an hour they play the all-clear tone. Let's see how bad it is. Chief Surveyor Tonin, I was kind of worried, comes in to let you know it's all safe now as the light comes back on. You glance at the hologram teddy bear again. Tonin was Tammy's dad. How can he be sure it's safe? How can he be sure anything is safe? Yeah, I was kind of worried he'd be the character we would lose in his grief, fighting too hard, perhaps. I do like how the writing, especially given that Tammy dying may not be a thing that happens every playthrough at this point in the game. The fact that the story, the writing keeps returning to it over and over again, that feels like it's like a scripted thing, It feels like that's kind of how it has to be, because they keep bringing it up. You keep seeing the trauma that your character feels as a result of that loss. You're relieved when your parents arrive with an ashen-faced Cal. They won't talk about what happened at Geoponics. Oh, Cal, honey. That was scary. Reached the end of age 10. After 2 weeks of darkness, with the blue sun barely skimming the horizon, it begins to move higher in the sky, and daytime returns. So something very bad happened, and Cal was out there in it, because he is very brave. He is a brave character. That is one of the things we know about him. The council admits they don't know how the gates were opened or how the creatures got in. Some of the attacking creatures were once thought to be docile. Others were species nobody had seen before. It was like something had driven them to assault the colony. Interesting. What could it have been? At least nobody was killed. This time. Also known as, you were lucky with the RNG this time around, player. Don't get complacent. Okay, so glow is scary. They do a good job making you realize that glow is scary. Like, fortunately, we didn't all die, but like, they're like, what are you doing out? You should stay inside. And I'm like, how bad can it be? And then they're like, yeah, so about that. I'm like, oh. Childhood is fleeting. The game will end when you reach age 20, so you should focus on a few skills to improve and friends to spend time with. Use the Skills and Friends button at the top left of the screen to keep track of them. Good luck. Alright, so what did I get last year? The Sun Medallion. Hooked on Your Hollow Palm. The Pink Candy. The Vertumna Group. Talent Show Champion. Learning About Earth. Hiding in the Crush. Empathy +1. Persuasion +13. Creativity +20. Reasoning +9. Organizing +2. Engineering +17. Toughness +2. I did make a little bit of friendship with Dis and Cal. And then definitely with Tangent. I've gotten some stress. I'm feeling pretty peaceful. All right. All right. See what Tangent wants. Solana's birthday. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting blue snowflakes land on her cheek. They melt almost immediately. She doesn't move as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid snow? Sounds gross? Or, run away from the acid snow. I'm just going to ask her to explain it. Acid snow? Tange nods. Professor Hal says it isn't harmful, and it is an important part of the natural cycle here. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns into tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some of the flakes fall on it. It tastes kind of sour, but sweet, she observes. Fascinating. Tange pulls a sample jar out of her coat. We know what it's made of, but our understanding is incomplete, she says, and places the jar on an outcropping of rocks. The big mushrooms changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder, is there some sort of signal that precedes the changing of the seasons? What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to snow from quiet season? Mad science. I am on board. A small, excited smile creeps across Tange's face. There's so much to learn about this planet. I can't wait. I like that attitude. You spot Dis arguing with someone working in expeditions. They point angrily back to the gates, and Dis slinks toward you, anger in his eyes. We're trapped here, he grumbles. I hate it. I hate it here. This bravery is never going to happen. I have this crystal I don't know what to do with. Hi, Cal. Oh, I dug up some medicinal roots. Okay. Cal is scrubbing his hands at the water barrel, trying unsuccessfully to get all the dirt out from under his fingernails. It looks like a lost cause. Cal's hands have been dirt-stained probably since you landed here. Stupid. Cal mutters. Stupid. Urgh! He jerks his hands out of the water and holds them to his face, and you hear him sob, Why do they have to? It's not fair. We didn't do anything to them. He wipes his eyes and startles when he sees you. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there, he says. I was just, washing my hands. So he's very upset at having to kill the animals. He doesn't understand why the animals attacked. We didn't provoke them, so why would they come after us? That doesn't make sense. But, so I could offer him something. I have medicinal roots, and I have a crystal cluster. Both of these seem like things that he might like. I do not have high enough organizing. I do not know how to get points to those things. You spot Mars tapping away at a hollow screen. She appears to be trying different clothing options on a digital doll maker. Look, Solana, she says, showing you her work. You can look like anything you want. I always thought I would look good with, like, horns, maybe. She hums. Maybe I can ask engineering about it. Yes, space pickeroo indeed. I want to give things to Tange, potentially Dis, or Cal. I feel like... we're going to try this. We're going to see if this works. I'm going to give him the medicinal roots. And then I'm going to give the crystal cluster, I think. It's a tangent. We'll see what happens. Oh. He says, neat. I don't know what I'll do with it. Hold on, we're going to try something here. I'm very curious because I've never given anyone something that they actually like. So we're going to see what happens with this. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's a pity, Tange said, looking at you with barely concealed disdain. I once thought you had promise as an intellectual equal, but you've let yourself become distracted. She doesn't approve of me, because I've been focusing on humanities as well, perhaps. Because that's really all I've done. Let's try giving her something. See what happens if I give her the crystal cluster. Yeah, she doesn't like it. I doubt she'll like the medicinal roots, but we'll see. Oh! This is interesting, is all Tange says, taking the roots and turning them over in her hands. Her lip curls in distaste at the dirt that still clings to them. No, really, she protests when she sees the look on your face. I'm going to analyze these roots to see if they have any useful properties. They might be medicinal. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. Okay, there we go. Finally, I've got something that people like. I've learned that Tangent likes medicinal roots. So we're gonna save. Sorry, Blue Glass. It's a short stream too. I started late, but I'm going to be ending at the usual time because, as you may recognize, this is my Texas backdrop. So, all right. Let's see if we can give Dis. Dis is perched up on a big rock, silently watching the forest. He barely moves as you approach. The longer you look, the more you see, he says cryptically. And see what happens if we give him a crystal cluster. No. Who else would want a crystal cluster? Probably Mars, because it's pretty. I don't care about her. Well, I'll hold on to it. But now I know that I want medicinal herbs. Oh, do we have any mods handy? We have thank you blues. Because I can always just give a thing that, like, if it's a thing that I should give to somebody I don't care about, I can just give it to somebody that I do care about. Well, let's do some more school. Shall we? I've been at, well, so I actually have spent a big chunk of this trip. I actually went with my sister to an adventure game meetup in Seattle. So it was some good sister bonding time. But now I'm hanging out with my stepdad because my mom is out of town, but I'll be spending some time with her when she gets back. And I'm going to hang out with my bandmates, and then I'm going to go have an adventure in California with them, and then come back and have more family time. So it's a very busy, very, very busy time. Yeah, I can see, like, just Tange feels like, I don't know, I think she's very insecure in her relationships since her brother stopped talking to her. So I think she's kind of taken that, like, I didn't want to talk to anyone anyway approach, which is not healthy, but understandable. Oh, I'm not going to take any biology classes. I have decided, like, no life sciences. We did engineering. That means I can study humanities again, right? Right? That's how that works, right? I know engineering would be really useful. But I want to study. Hold on, let's see. What are we doing over here? We've got my reasoning and engineering are almost at 30. Creativity, persuasion. I want these to be at the next 20 point. So, like, if I could get these up to 40 and get this up, or rather get persuasion up to 20. Those seem to be the cutoffs. I should study engineering. I'm going to study humanities. I'll study engineering next time. Hal has been called away for a council meeting, so Congruence is filling in. She tells you that today you'll be learning about the history of capitalism on Earth. Oh, good. Wonderful. This is going to be great. I'm going to love this. You mean why humans used to have nice things and now we just eat mashed trippet and soy cakes? Mars says smugly. Please. Earth humans might have messed everything up, but at least they had style. Oh, we're going to be dealing with some misconceptions about capitalism and other ways of living. Ever patient, Congruence ignores Mars's contribution and projects a holovid into the classroom. A solemn woman in weird clothes identifies herself as Haven Constance Odenheim, an educational designer for the Vertumna Group, and tells you that the following experience has been created specifically to teach you, the third generation of the group, about the largest contributing factor in Earth's destruction, capitalism. You and the other students exchange worried looks. That is interesting. You spend the day in an interactive experience that covers the history of capitalism from market feudalism to its transition to colonialism, then its major phases like industrialization, mass production, and corporatism. Oh boy. It ends with a discussion of how it collapsed in the late 21st century as wealth inequality and environmental concerns finally weakened its hegemony, along with the planet itself. Yes, that is, in fact, not too far away. So I can either say, sounds horrible, or it can't have been that bad, or this is just more weird cult stuff. I cannot divorce my personal experiences as a 21st century human. Buying and selling things trading your skills for somebody else's skills and so on. That's I think a very helpful and necessary thing in a lot of forms of society. But capitalism is a very specific iteration of that that just does a lot of harm. So I'm going to go ahead and go with like I'm an 11-year-old raised in a mindset that is very different from this, and it does sound horrible if you believe it. So I would say like the like distrusting of the weird cult stuff would be here. But I feel like if this is an entire day of interactive experience, I would just be kind of horrified by this. Perhaps the doubt and distrust will follow. Like, wait a minute, they tried really hard to make sure we understood this was bad. Was it really as bad as they said it was? Which I think is good to have a healthy level of distrust and cynicism. Just always question things. But we'll go with sounds horrible because it does. I could have had distrust. I'm really getting along great with the colony right now. That's funny. The educational experience tells you that despite being regarded by many as simply an economic system, capitalism had been responsible for more violence on Earth than any act of war. From its very beginnings as the colonial powers spread mercantilism across the globe, I hope I pronounced that right, it required a constant supply of people to exploit through any means necessary. It took centuries for people to realize how horrible capitalism was, once people could no longer hide from its racist colonialist history. Yeah, no, I know what mercantile is, but when you put it into mercantilism, like, how does the pronunciation shift when you're putting it in a different form? That's the question. I know, Blue Glass. I'm really not rebellious in this game. But part of it is also that, like, I don't know, I'm still kind of figuring out how the world that I'm in this game works. Yeah, mercantilism is kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know if that's correct. So I'm grooving to the music. And yeah, also my character is only 11. And there are children who will rebel against systems in a politically minded way at that age. But I think most children kind of are just beginning to break away from what their parents have told them to think at that point. You're partway through the lesson when Cal realizes the parallels. But we live in a colony, don't we? Aren't we colonizing Vertumna? Isn't that wrong? Of course not, dummy, Mars reasons. There aren't any people here to take the land from, just a bunch of animals. So you can either say, the animals count too, or maybe we should have stayed on Earth, or yeah, let's kill all the dumb animals. We'll say the animals count too, because we don't actually know, like we are coming in here, we don't know how the animals here will perceive us, how sentient or sapient they are. They did attack us after all. I don't know. So I'll say the animals count too, which Mars isn't going to think very well of, but maybe Cal will. Cal nods in agreement, but Mars is not impressed. I squashed a Dorbs moth the other day, she retorts. Are you going to put me in future jail for money crimes? Yikes, Solana. You should just lock yourself in your room if you're so worried about hurting the environment. Okay, what's funny here is that this is somewhere between a straw man and an actual argument that people make about this sort of thing. It's interesting. Tangent watches this exchange silently, but turns her head and doesn't meet your eye when you look at her. Yeah. Didn't figure she'd like that. Card becomes social yellow. As you get older, challenges can have conditions. The challenge suit, social, mental, or physical, determines what conditions can appear and which decks will work best. Try to collect social yellow cards if you want to win battles for social skills, empathy, persuasion, creativity, or bravery. Well, I'm mostly getting intellectual cards, so that doesn't do very good for me. Is it done? Well, let's see what happens here. Okay, so that's 11. It's not a super win, unfortunately. But I don't think I have a super win in me here. All right. I got creativity. Well, I got a good enough win to get the extra there. I got a kudos. So much has happened in the last month since the monster attack during Glow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has been shattered. The security squads are training new members and keeping close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls and even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again. In all the excitement, you forgot today was your birthday. Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up early with enthusiastic shouts of, "Surprise!" A Vertumnan year is only a little longer than a year on Earth, so you've taken up its calendar for birthdays. Yours is in the second month of quiet. Spark snow drifts slowly past your porthole window as you snuggle with your dad. Your mom climbs up too and sits on the edge of your bed. Your dad pulls a bowl of fruit from behind his back with a flourish like a magic trick. At least you think it's fruit. What are those? Bobber fruit, your dad grins. The foragers have been picking these just outside the walls. They might look funny, but they're tasty. Try one. Oh. +1 to a card. Change suit to intellect. You take a cautious bite. The pulp is soft and tastes a bit like lemon, only more blue. I bet you can't wait to join the surveyors out there, your dad says wistfully. Who knows what else you'll find? Solana is not allowed outside the gates, your mom interrupts, her voice sharp. It's too dangerous for kids. Well, I know, but eventually, your dad says, but your mom cuts him off again. But not now, your mom replies. Not since the attack. Not with everything we know is out there now. So I can either say, you knew about the monsters, admit it, or the attack was scary. It's my birthday. Do I want to ruin my birthday? Do I want to ruin my birthday? My mom is being evasive and weird. I'm 11, so I might be a little bit... I'm going to either say the attack was scary, which I'm tired of saying that things are scary. I'm 11 years old now. I'm a big girl. I don't have to be scared of everything. So I'm going to challenge my mom. I'm stressed out. Everyone's been stressing me out. Everyone's been stressed out. Just everything has been focused on how do we deal with the fact that there's monsters out there. We're on edge. So stressful I forgot about my birthday. So you knew about the monsters. Admit it. Oh, this is, I think, the first time I've gotten rebel points. Your parents exchange a heavy look. The surveyors knew there was something dangerous out there we hadn't encountered yet, your mom admits after a guilty silence. But we didn't know it would attack the colony. We thought if we closed the gates and stayed inside, it wouldn't see us as a threat. Well, now we know. We didn't want to scare everyone, your dad adds. It was just a precaution. Oh, did you not? I assume you told the council, and the council decided not to tell everyone. But there's a typo here. You dad adds. You dad, dad. Sorry. Even still, your mom says, it's clear that everyone should know how to defend themselves if it happens again. To be clear, this includes knowing when to run away, your dad adds. Security Chief Rhett's offering self-defense lessons at the garrison, you know, even for kids. If you're interested, you should drop in sometime. Unlocked defense training in the garrison. Your mom gives you a stern look. And I've heard stories of kids sneaking outside the walls, she says grimly. If I catch you doing that, I'm going to put a chip in your ear. You laugh. What a good joke. Your mom doesn't laugh. So that she can follow us, I assume. What, me? Never. It's probably not that dangerous, or I'll do what I want. I'm still mostly a goody two-shoes at this point. Also, I have a healthy fear of what's outside the door. I say, what, me? Never. Yeah, you better never, your mom retorts, crossing her arms. That undid my little bit of rebellion. I'm not very rebellious in this game. Maybe I'll play somebody rebellious next time. We'll see. Next month. I could... So I'm just wandering around looking for stuff. Mars is watching her hollow screen intently. She shushes you before you can get a word in edgewise. They're about to kiss, Mars hisses, barely giving you a second look. Okay, whatever. Hi, Cal. Cal is leaning on the garden fence, looking out at the colony. That attack was awful, he says quietly. I did something I'm not proud of, and people still got hurt. He sniffles and rubs his face. All the adults tell me it's okay because I had to do it, that I was brave and I protected the colony. But I don't want to hurt anything, not even a monster. So he had to either kill or contribute to the killing of the monster. Man, that poor kiddo. The fact that they even allowed children of that age to be out during that is a little messed up. But I'm allowed to criticize what they're doing. Let's see, Dis says... Dis sits before a collection of rocks grouped by color and texture. As you watch, he takes another rock from his pocket and stacks it with its kin. He looks up at you. What? He says flatly. You've never seen rocks before? I want to give you a rock. But you didn't act interested in the rock that I wanted to give you. You don't see Dis at first, but you do hear rustling followed by the screech of metal on metal. Oh, thank you for subscribing. After a few minutes of looking, you spot Dis placing large rocks in front of a corrugated metal leaning against the wall. He stops and looks at you. You didn't see anything, he says, going back to covering up his tracks. Yeah, he's definitely sneaking out. Oh, I've got the bobber fruit. He doesn't want the rock. I'm sorry, game, but like, people who want rocks, who like rocks, want rocks. I say this as a person who likes rocks. I'm going to offer him the fruit. No, he doesn't want the fruit. Oops, I'm not good at buttons here. I'm going to offer Cal the fruit. Maybe that'll cheer him up a little bit. Food! Cal grabs the fruit out of your hands, then remembers his manners. He gives you a big hug. Thanks, Solana. I'm starving. How did you know? All right. I've made friends with him more. Good. I'll take it. Dis is gonna get in big trouble. Dis, I hope that your explorations outside of here did not result in the monsters attacking us. Because they've picked up on... Because they're psychic and they've picked up on how much you hate being here, and therefore they think that this is a bad place to be. I did humanities last time, so we should do engineering this time. Let's study some engineering, shall we? See what happens. You're bringing supplies to medbay when you see something unusual. Tangent curled up on a bench, her head pillowed on a rolled-up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You never see Tange sleeping. She's always so busy. You're surprised she even has time to nap. You turn to leave her in peace when you bump into Anemone. Whoa, Anemone says. She hardly ever sleeps. Like, just a couple hours a night. Is she sick or something? You look back at Tangent, snoozing peacefully. You learned that Tangent has an augment that helps her not sleep, I suppose. I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement, Anemone says, rubbing at one of the scales sprouting on her jawline. She hardly needs to sleep at all. She probably stayed up all night studying for this morning's history test. So I can either say, shh, let's let her sleep, or there was a test? Oh man, which of these do I want to pick? So Anemone has scales. I don't know what the scales mean, but they probably mean something. Let her sleep, or there was a test. I'm going to shush Anemone and support Tangent because I have loyalty to Tangent, even if she's kind of not the bestest friend to me. Shh, let's let her sleep. Tange's hollow palm beeps a soft alarm. She sits up and stretches, looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching her and looks annoyed. Just a power nap, she says. No reason to gawk. Get to work. All right. Super goal. Let's do it. I got an extra engineering point, an extra kudos, and I'm probably gonna have to sleep next month. Late quiet. Just trying to see if there's any stuff that I can dig up. No, doesn't look like it. Wrong button. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like these are just equivalents of Earth seasons, which I appreciate. If Tange paid you any less attention, she'd be flat out ignoring you. Can I help you? Smart for my age. Need reasoning 40 or greater. What is my reasoning? I'll get that eventually. I will. My reasoning is currently... Nope. My reasoning is 31. I'll get there eventually. Okay, well, there doesn't appear to be much else going on here. Let's see if Mom and Dad have anything new to say. Your mom blinks at you like she hasn't seen you in a while. Wow, you're getting big, she mutters, shaking her head in disbelief. Dad is taking a break. Okay, well, I don't think there's anything else I can do here. Oh. So I guess we'll... Hold on. I guess I should probably take this off. Yes, my stress is 95 out of 100. So I guess we should probably rest this season, shouldn't we? We can forget a memory. That sounds good. Oh, you look around the lounge. Some friends are here. Who do you hang out with? Cal, Anemone, or Tangent? Honestly, Tangent doesn't want my friendship. But she's very much like people I've been friends with in the past. So I'm going to cling to her and see what happens. Cal is a much easier person to be friends with. But what happens when we hang out with Tangent? Tangent is quietly reading her hollow palm. You plop down beside her and ask her what she's reading. Multicellular biology, she says, frowning at the interruption. If you insist on sitting near me, you could at least do it quietly. No problem! You open up your hollow palm and find a textbook of old Earth poetry to read. It's never a bad idea to do a little independent study. Though she's a little prickly, you can tell Tange appreciates the company. Okay, so my friendship went up and my reasoning went up. Good. Yes, she's prickly. I have a history of close friendships with people who are prickly. I took the month off. I could forget stress cry or discovering. I'm going to forget discovering because stress cry is higher points. And also I don't have as many cards that are social. So yeah, we'll go with this. Although it's really the zeros I want to forget. Forget discovering, yes. Maybe that's a bad idea, but that's what we're doing. Early pollen. Okay. Yeah, because I had duplicates of this, so I want something that's not duplicates. I've only got the one that's physical. Okay, we're gonna save. I'm actually making progress. Avernum. I don't know if I'm familiar with Avernum. Alright, what's up, Tange? Tangent is deep in conversation with one of the other scientists. I like that she's a kid, but she counts as a scientist. He seems to be consoling her, though Tangent's face betrays no emotion as he claps her on the shoulder and reassures her that she's doing really well for someone so young, and that everyone compromised some of their samples when they were first learning. He leaves, and Tangent sighs as she goes to put her head in her hands, stopping short when she realizes she's still wearing gloves. She peels them off and digs her fingers into her eyes. Kids can count. I suppose kids can count. So I can either say, "Are you okay, Tangent?" or "What's up, Tange?" Like, I feel like asking her if she's okay, she won't deal well. But if I'm like, "What's up?" that's like saying, like, what's going on? What's the situation? I'm not asking her about her feelings, which she wants to pretend she doesn't have. Instead, she can tell me about the situation that she's dealing with. "What's up, Tange?" Tange grimaces. "Just great. Well, I compromised an experiment I was working on because the vent was still open when I was spraying the workstation down with sanitizer." She sniffs. "It's so gross here," she says. "I probably did that fungus a favor." Tangent takes a bottle of sanitizer from under her workbench and cleans while she speaks. "There are pollen spores everywhere," she whines. "And he comes over here and tells me it'll be okay, Tange, like it's his job to console and patronize me." So I can either say, "I hate being patronized too," or "What's wrong with him being nice?" or "But it is okay to make mistakes." I can't say what's wrong with him being nice because that won't work with her. So I can either commiserate or tell her that it is okay to make mistakes, which is the lesson that she needs to take away from this, but it is not the lesson that she's going to take away from this. And also, that is something for an adult to get through to her. That is not something that children can or should get through to each other necessarily. So from one nerdy kid to another, and I've decided that Solana has a chip on her shoulder for she really likes the humanities, but she's not as good at it, but she also thinks that she's not as smart as her friend who focuses exclusively on the sciences. So she's used to being patronized by adults and by Tangent herself. So she's going to say, I hate being patronized too. You both sigh in unison, the rebellion. Look at that. I hate being young, she says bitterly. Why don't they understand that we have higher expectations for ourselves than they do? I need to learn from my own failures. Well, I'm glad that was a bit of rebellion. What I don't need, she continues icily, is someone to pat me on the head and tell me it's okay and the adults will make it all better. I messed up, she says. Just let me fix it. Don't make a big deal about it like I'm a child with a boo-boo. She's a really interesting character. Bye, Chrono. Well, thanks for joining while you could. Cal is kneeling in the dirt, carefully planting pieces of potato. When I was a kid, I thought everything grew from chopped up pieces of bigger things. I mean, that's how it works for potatoes and onions. He sits back on his heels, a funny look on his face. I guess I must have never thought about how babies are made, huh? That's funny. Oh, I got something to say with Dad. Okay. Let's see what's up with Dad. Save. You meet your dad adjusting a watering bot in your mom's flower garden. He's having a sneezing fit, his eyes runny and red. You're alarmed. You've never seen him look sick before. People were hardly ever ill on the stratospheric, except sometimes when the zero-G rooms made them queasy. It's allergies. It's pollen season. Not to worry, my little beanstalk, he says nasally. I'll be fine. It's just this pollen making my head a little stuffy. He wipes his nose with a handkerchief and looks around. Everywhere you turn, the air is soupy and tinged with pink from all the floating pollen. On Earth, your dad tells you, we used to call this hay fever. Austin was really, really bad for my allergies. I got sick all the time. My allergies were so bad. I kept getting sinus infections like every couple months. It was really bad. Even though it had nothing to do with hay, your mom cuts in, carrying a large bouquet of flowers. The native flowers seem to be in full bloom this time of year. She buries her nose deep in them. And they smell fantastic. Your dad smiles kindly and agrees that they sure are beautiful. Then he blows his nose loudly. So I can either sniff the flowers tentatively or tell them I'm scared of the pollen. I have a lot of options to tell them that I'm scared of things. I'm gonna decide not to do that. I'm 11. I'm not scared of pollen, even though it makes my dad sick. I'm gonna sniff the flowers tentatively and maybe get sick and have to stay in for a while. They do smell good, and they look harmless. Your dad's eyes look so sad, but maybe that's just the allergies. Hey, Solana, I know the last few weeks have been very hard for you. This might be a good time to relax and stick around in the quarters wing. Huh. No, I'm doing great. I'm doing so great. Look at how great I am. I have the smiley face stat. Okay, well, let's go do some more, like, education, shall we? I probably should actually learn some self-defense, too. But I'm going to be bad at that. I want to study humanities. I am not a fan of pollen. So in Austin, in the Austin area in Central Texas, sometimes you'll get a gust of wind hitting a tree and just this neon lime green poof just comes out and just like a poof, like a cloud, and then it'll completely cover your car. Your car will be like neon green. It's awful, and my sinuses hate it so much. All right, let's study the humanities a bit more, shall we? Bye, Oofus. Have a good evening. Everybody else, thank you for sticking with me. I know this has been a kind of weird schedule, but we're getting by. I figure some is better than nothing. Let's study humanities. We did engineering last time, right? I think. I might be making excuses so I can continue to study humanities. I should study engineering so I can get my engineering up. I do really just want to study humanities. I'm going to do it. I'm going to study humanities. You spend a few weeks reading old classic novels from Earth, and you learn a lot of words that you soon discover the adults do not want you saying in casual conversation. Professor Hal says you should take the novels in context of the time they were written, but it's hard to overlook some of the stereotypes people used to believe. Interesting. One slot will turn cards yellow. So this is a humanities thing, so we're gonna... Oh. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. I should have put discovering down so that I could have had 2 yellows in a row. Well, that's fine. Not every time is going to be perfect. And I did get the 6 points for them being in a row like that. So we're gonna go with this. This is as good as it's gonna get. It's not a super win, but it's still a win. All right. Mid Pollen. What does she have to say? She's got nothing to say. He's got nothing to say. Anemone rolls a bobber fruit down her arm and flicks it to you with her elbow, then munches down on one of her own while she watches the construction crews work on the walls. Kinda cool, huh? She says. Soon this place is gonna look like a real colony. Yo, Cal. Cal is kicking a ball against the garden fence post, cheering when it bounces back toward him. Ever since we landed here, I don't play a lot of sports ball, he says, picking up the ball and tucking it under his arm. Anemone and I used to play a lot, but honestly, I think I like working in the garden more. He smiles up at the sky. I just like doing stuff that feels like it makes a difference, you know? I don't want to just play all the time like Anemone. Anemone is super friendly. She's probably really easy to befriend. I'm just not particularly interested in the stuff that she's interested in. Ooh, a sturdy mushwood log. Who am I going to give that sturdy mushwood log to? Let's see. And yeah, no, they really do get across how incredibly thick the pollen is. Let's give the mushwood log to him. See what happens. He doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay. That's fine. Maybe it'll be useful for Cal? I doubt Tangent will want it, but you never know. It is biology from the plant, from the planet. Okay, no. You spot your dad catching a break inside the geoponics domes. He takes a huge glug from his canteen, then upends the rest over his face. Whew, he exclaims. Wish I could take my eyes out of my head, wash them off, and pop them back in. He laughs at the look on your face. Too gross? Too gross. Sorry, kiddo. This pollen is just so itchy. Yeah, this is written by somebody who has allergies. Okay, well, we're just gonna kind of keep pushing on then. I did humanities last time, right? So we're gonna do engineering this time. Just gonna keep studying. So much math. It's everywhere. Physics is math. Computers run on math. Electricity, mechanical engineering, chemistry, and anything to do with space, math. Behind everything is some equation or other to calculate how to turn one thing into something else, or to tell how efficient something is. They should have called this whole branch of science matheneering. Alright, we're going to study some matheneering. So we're going to do 0. So I'm trying to think. Which card am I going to make go up one? Oh. This one. Yeah. Oh. I think this is about as good as it's going to get. It is not a super goal, but it is still a goal. It is interesting how Tangent's cards, she's got to be the best. As long as she's doing better than everyone else, she gets a bonus. She's got confidence. But the moment she's not the best at something, it starts really getting to her. Alright, I think this is about as good as I can do. So we're going to go with it. Once again, not a super win. Yeah, no, it's neat. It's a good way of having the mechanics, the gameplay reflect character and story and things like that. I really like that. I don't know. Well, let's win. Yes, it's not enough that I win. Others have to lose. Yeah. No, I think that's unfortunately true with her. All right. I did pretty well. Done. You're finishing breakfast in the common area when Marzipan struts in. Look at you eating cereal, she says, turning her nose up at you. I bet you don't even know what day today is. So I can either say, you're right, I don't know, or, your birthday? I don't want to be friends with her, so I'm just going to say, you're right, I don't know. Today, she announces to the room, is St. Valentine's Day. Dis and Cal wander over to hear more. Back on Earth, Mars explains, it was a day when everybody had to give their best friend a gift, especially sweets. And then you put the sweets under your pillow and it makes you dream about who you're going to marry. And there are decorations of hearts and arrows and pigs. Well, she's got part of it. Cal laughs. Pigs? We don't even have pigs here. Before Mars can answer, Dis snorts. This is dumb. Marzipan just made it up to get free candy. He rolls his eyes and walks away. As he leaves, Mars shouts at his back, well, nobody was going to pick you anyway. You stink. So I can either say Valentine's Day sounds like fun, or I know who my best friend will be, or I think it's dumb too. I know who my best friend will be, and she's not going to care about this. She's going to be like, why are you doing this? And I'll be like, I don't know, because this is who I am. Mars bats her eyes jokingly. Oh, really? Who could it be? She asks playfully. I'm going to tell all the other kids about it, Mars says. So you go around and find your best friend and give them a gift. She points her finger at you. Make sure you do it by the end of the day or it doesn't count. And if too many people want to be my best friend, she adds, I'll hold tryouts for the position. It's only fair. She tosses her hair over her shoulder and laughs. All right. Well, new perk. Engineering level 1, extra card draw. Draw an extra card at the start of challenge. Effect stacks. Oh, new perk. +1 to mental cards. Blue cards get +1 in mental challenges. Ooh. Interesting. I don't know where rock is my current save, but it is. It's close to time to shut down, but I'm going to go ahead. Oh, no, I can talk to the twins. Oh, man, I can talk to a bunch of folks. Oh, I can talk to anyone about being my best friend. Got it. Okay. Yes, my deck is mostly blue, but my character wishes it was yellow. It's great. We're off to a good start. Okay, this appears to be everyone I can give my Valentine to. Maybe I will shut down rather than make that decision, although we all know I'm going to give that decision. Or I'm going to give it to Tangent, and she's going to be like, what? But it's all good. Shall we? I will load rock. Thank you so much for joining. Again, I'm so sorry that it has taken so long. And we're going to probably miss next week's stream. But we might be back the following week. So just keep an eye on things on Discord. I'll try to keep people posted. Yes, I think it's safe to say that it's a one-sided-ish friendship with Tangent, but I suspect she cares more than she lets on. She just doesn't know how to safely share that she cares. Thursday is kind of up in the air, so I'll let you know. But I'm behind on Teenage Exocolonist. I've had more AUDEN streams lately, so I figured that at the very least this balances out. So I'll keep you posted. Please keep an eye on the Discord server, and I will try to let folks know there. I'm not really using social media much these days, so I'm not posting on there, but maybe I should. I'll try. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you and your patience, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and rest of your week. Bye!